Alright, interesting. Alright, so now we can leave the graveyard, and it will be nighttime in Kakariko Village. And this is interesting, because now things will have changed here as well. Namely, some gold Skulltulas will actually be out and about where they weren't before. And you can also see why Sunsong is going to come in handy here, because you can now explore an area entirely and then just play Sunsong and change it to nighttime and then check the area again. So we can get that one. And you'll see most of the townsfolk that were out and about and running around aren't here anymore. The Cuckoo lady is gone. Even the Cuckoos themselves appear to have vanished. If we... Oh, there's another gold Skulltula here on the wall. Take care of that one. If we go into the houses, sometimes things there might be different too, if they'll even let us in at night. And now we actually do need to start replenishing some of her rupees. Thanks, Dampe. Oh, okay, he says exactly the same thing he did before. Yeah. What, I can't actually skip this? It's weird how the designers decided that some text you can skip and some you can't. I don't know. See if this guy says anything different now that it's night. Is visiting other people's houses at this late hour your idea of fun? You must not have had a good upbringing. Well, I was brought up by a tree, and he's dead now, so... Thanks for opening that wound. That lady takes care of chickens, but she's in fact... Oh, okay, he says it basically, except for that allusion to it being this late of an hour, it's exactly the same thing. Oh, but here's the Cuckoo lady. Please don't tease my Cuckoos. Yeah, you told me that already. Don't patronize me after I helped you. Alright. And you'll recall, remember earlier how we got that juicy bit of gossip from behind that door about the carpenter's son hanging out under the tree at night? Well, here he is. Oh, boy. Looks like you need a sandwich or something, son. Put some meat on them bones. People are disgusting. My own father and mother are disgusting. You must be disgusting, too. Wow. Pleasure talking to you. Alright, now, if I'm not mistaken... Yeah. It's interesting how this is one of the only examples I can think of in the game where rolling into the tree during the day actually didn't make that Skulltula fall. Only during the nighttime. Whereas with other trees during the day, it's not a problem. That's very odd to me. Oh, here's the carpenter. Those guys each do the work of half a man, but they still want a full man's portion. They're lazy slackers, I tell you. You don't by any chance are related to the principal in Back to the Future, are you? Make yourself at home food and ready. Okay, so she says basically the same thing. Oh, here's the carpenters. We're running around, see if they see anything. I'm starving. Isn't dinner ready yet? It's 6:09 already. I'm starving. Let's eat dinner right now. Look at this kid. My beautiful smooth hands are all worn out from working. Sob, sob. I'm not sure who's telling the truth about them working hard. Anyway. Now, here's something else interesting. If I'm not mistaken, there should be... I don't think on... Yeah. Skulltula around this corner here. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that brings us up to 10 now. Huzzah! Which means we will finally be able to have broken the curse on one of the Skulltula children. Come in here at night. I heard that our boss's house is just behind this house. He doesn't want any of us to know, though. Ah, so that's what that mysterious house is all about. I guess that means that he must be married to Granny. Oh, my boy is asleep right now. Please come back some other time to play with him. So it looks like we can't ever get in this house. During the day, she just says, oh, he's off in the graveyard. During nighttime, that's what she says. And then, I think up here on that ladder, there's another Skulltula hiding out there. Now, we can't climb up this way, because otherwise we'll just run right into the Skulltula, and it'll knock us all the way down the ladder. So what we want to do is hit it from afar first with our slingshot, because you can't use your sword while you're on the ladder. So if we kill it from afar, then it just turns it into the token, and then we can climb all the way up top and claim the token. Now, I'm not sure if we can do this yet. There's multiple ways of getting up onto that roof. No, it looks like we can't actually climb on top of the barrier there, because it wants to prevent us from falling all the way down. But I was going to talk about how ways of potentially getting on top of the roof. Spoiler alert. Okay, yeah, talking to Navi there again. But eventually, when we're able to have a method of getting on top of that roof and talking to that guy, he gives us a piece of heart as well, just by actually talking to him on the roof as opposed to talking to him from afar. But anyway, so now we're up to 11, I think? 11, yeah. But we only need the 10 Skulltulas to have broken the curse on the first Skulltula child. So let's go back to the House of Skulltula and gain our first reward. I think it's... oh, not there. Yeah, here we go, this guy. Look at that. Not a Skulltula no more. Isn't that nice? And he's so happy. The curse has been broken. Thank you. Here's a reward for you. Ah, isn't that awesome? This is so worth it. You got an adult's wallet. Adults are allowed to carry a lot of money now. You can hold up to 200 rupees. No more of that stinking 99 for me. Now this really would have been come in useful during that heart-pounding grave digging tour. We would have been able to have stocked up more rupees, and I wouldn't have had a near panic attack that we weren't going to be able to get the piece of heart. But anyway, I don't think off the top of my head that there's anything else we can do out here during the night. I don't think so. So, I think what I'll do is I'll turn it back to daytime, and we'll show you how that works. And we'll move on with our adventure. Look at that. Now, it's funny, too, how it shows us coming out of that area. As we've covered before, there's two types of areas, places where time passes and places where it doesn't. Now, if I played this out in, say, Hyrule Field, where time passes, we wouldn't have had that kind of fade to black and then fade back in transition. We would have actually seen the sun and the moon switch places rapidly through the sky, whichever time you're traversing. And it would have just happened in, well, quote-unquote, in real time. It would have just sped fast forward really quickly to that time. But because this is an area where time doesn't pass, we don't see that happening. So that's why we get that fade out and fade back in transition. And you'll also notice that it started us off back at this place. That's because it will re-enter you when after time has passed and has zipped you forward to the appropriate interval. You'll find yourself coming back into that area at the last spot that you entered. So because we last exited the House of Skulltula and re-entered back into the village area, that's what it considers our last entrance. So that's where it left us off again. But here now, if we talk to the clock guy here, it should settle that argument for me once and for all. I'm a clock soldier, blah, blah, blah. Current time is 12. So I was right. Yeah, it is actually 12. That's what I first said. I said it was 12 and 12, and I second-guessed myself and said 6 and 6, and then realized because of the inconsistency of the heart-pounding grave-digging tour, God, I'm so sick of saying that, being between 6 and 9, and the Sun Song not helping me there, that it couldn't have been 6, so it had to be 12. But alright, anyway. So it's between noon and midnight, basically. Just before I move on, actually, I'll just because the Sun Song is pretty neat, I'm just going to show you a little bit how it works in other areas. Blah, 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 blah. And I can't skip this for some reason. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. I'm just going to exit the area just for a second, just to show you what it's like using the Sun Song out in an area where time does pass. Check this out. Whoa! And now the stall children are out in force. So now, and if I play the Sun Song again right now, then it would zip me back to noon. So now I'll re-enter Kakariko, and I'll play the Sun Song again. And watch what happens now. See, now it's got that transition, and because now this was the place that I last entered the area, that's where it started me off again, as opposed to back at the House of Skulltula entrance. Anyway, you get how it works now. So, we're going to do a few things here. First, I'm going to equip Zelda's letter, because that's what we're going to need to use here coming up. And we will finally talk to that guard. See what he's all about. The road is closed beyond this point. Can't you read the sign over there? Eh? Oh, I see. You're just a kid and you can't read yet. Ha ha ha. You son of a bitch. Alright. Well, let's give him the letter then, and maybe that'll shut him up. Oh, this is surely Princess Zelda's handwriting. Well, let's see. Okay. This is Jordan. He is under my orders to save Hyrule. Thanks, Zelda. Wahahaha. What kind of funny game has our princess come up with now? Okay, alright. You can go now. Just be careful, Mr. Hero. Wahahaha. Any relation to Waluigi? Alright, just like that. Area's open to us now. By the way, Mr. Hero. Okay. Jeez, enough of the condescension. If you're going to climb Death Mountain, you should equip a proper shield. It is an active volcano, after all. If you go back to Hyrule Castle Town Market, you should check out the bazaar. They sell the shield you need there. That's right. We went to the bazaar before. Tell them I sent you, and they should give you a special discount. If you think you're good to go already, don't worry about it. Now, I'd like to ask a favor of you. No, I don't expect you to do it just because of the great tip I just gave you. I'm just asking. Have you been to the Happy Mask shop that just opened in Hyrule Castle Town Market? Everyone is talking about it. My little boy pesters me for a popular mask, but I don't have time to go there. So, could you go and get the mask for me next time you're in the market? If you don't feel like it, that's okay, but, well, I have no choice. This is my job. Sigh. So this is the beginning of a couple of things. First off, as he mentioned, we're going to want to equip ourselves with a stronger shield. Now again, I think it was in episode 3 where we visited Hyrule Market. And we went to the bazaar, and we encountered the guy who works at the shop, and we saw that he does sell something called the Hylian Shield, and it cost 80 rupees. Now, true to form, he makes good on his word that he actually does have apparently some connections with this guy. If we were to go back to the bazaar now and talk to the guy, he would be willing to sell us a Hylian Shield for 60 rupees. So that's not a bad discount. However, I've got an even better discount. I could find one for free. And we're going to go back to the graveyard very briefly, and I will show you where you can actually find one. It's in another grave, and it's marked by some flowers in front. Now, of course, because it's daytime, that boy is going to be there again. So he's not going to let us dig up any of the graves. So we're actually going to use Sun Song to zip us forward to nighttime once again. And that will allow us access. Now you see, because it's midnight, it skipped past 9 p.m. So the heart-pounding grave-digging tour isn't on anymore. So Dampe, even though it's night, he's not out. He's back in his shack here. It's midnight now. The grave-digging tour is over now. I, Dampe, the gravekeeper, am in bed. Go away and play. Maybe you'll find a ghost. Is he, like, in bed all hours of the day except 6 to 9? Jesus. But anyway, this is the point. This grave here that's marked with these 3 flowers, that's the one we want. So if we pull that one back... Et voila! Another hidden hole! And here, a little mini chest, which we will find our free Hylian Shield. Switch to the equipment subscreen and select the shield with A. So I'm not going to use it right now. I'll equip it at first just to show you. You'll see that it is a bigger and stronger shield, but it's a little bit too big for us. So we have to use it just by kind of curling down. So it'll protect our back, but we won't be able to hold it while Zed targeting, like we can with our wooden Deku shield. The reason why this is going to be a useful shield at this point in our adventure is because the next dungeon that we end up venturing into, fire is going to be a running theme throughout that dungeon. Indeed, the spiritual stone we're going to be looking for in an attempt with that whole section of our adventure attempting to gain is called the Spiritual Stone of Fire. So fire is going to be the theme from this point for the foreseeable future until we finally get that stone. And the thing with our Deku shield we've been using up until this point is because it is wooden, it is actually susceptible to flame, and it actually can burn up. We can actually lose the shield outright. So during those areas, it may be, unless we're feeling particularly adventurous and particularly brave, and are especially sure in our skill, it's probably the best course of action to take to temporarily at least switch out in those areas to the Hylian Shield, because the Hylian Shield is not vulnerable to fire. In fact, it's not actually destructible by any force. So it is the better shield, but just because we're so small, we can't wield it as well as the Deku shield.